Good morning. This is the Board of Public Works in Kokomo, Indiana on July 29th. Our first order of business today is to approve the minutes from July 22nd. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion we approve the minutes from the meeting held on July 22nd, 2020.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the motion carries. With no items from police and fire, we'll move on to new business. And the first is to have a public hearing for the resolution 2020-6, a resolution pertaining to the Urbandale Sewer and Sanitation Extension Project, project number C1704-1A. So at this point, I will recess the Board of Works and open the public hearing. I believe Carrie had some words to say to start.
Right. So I wanted to first talk about what I'm going to go over my name's Carrie Stranahan. I'm a member of the Board of Works and also the city engineer. And so I wanted to first start by going over how we got to this point with the project. Several years ago, the city was approached by 35% of the property owners with a petition requesting the extension of sanitary sewer service. The city has an active Board of Works resolution that provides for the extension of city sewer service to existing property owners upon a petition being received. Our Board of Works policy follows a state statute called Barrett Law, which allows municipalities and other government agencies to cost share with property owners for public improvements. The sanitary sewer extension policy, or the Barrett Law policy, the state Barrett Law policy only requires that the city find that the project would benefit the property owners. But we have established a 35% threshold for requesting sewer service extension, and so we were presented with a petition from 35% of the property owners to extend sewer service. So it took us a while to design the project. It's a pretty extensive project. We designed the project over about a year and a half, I think, and then contracted out with a contractor to do the extension. The extension project is 95% complete. There are property owners that are desperate to get sewer service, so we went ahead and presented the resolution to the Board of Works, and in accordance with the state Barrett Law statute, we have to do a resolution and establish an assessment roll that identifies the parcels that are affected by the sewer extension and have a public hearing so that that can all be approved and we can begin allowing property owners to connect. The way the Board of Works policy works is that the property owners are required to pay a portion of the sewer extension, technically their portion of the sewer extension. So our sewer extension project was upwards of $3 million. So according to the Barrett Law, every property owner would pay a portion of that, their portion of it. So if there are 70 houses out there, you'd pay 1/70th of $3 million. Well, that's a large sum of money. So the city established a maximum cost for every parcel of $6,000 per lot. And so that is the assessment for every parcel. We do not assess the property owner that $6,000 unless they connect. We also don't require property owners to connect unless either they sign the petition, because we only required 35% of the property owners to sign a petition for us to extend the sewer service. So we need those 35% of the people to connect to make this project work, to make it viable. Otherwise, if nobody ever connected, then we just spent $3 million for a project that nobody would use. So we only require 35% of the people to petition to get the project in, but we need those 35% of the people. We need 35% of the people to connect. So everybody receives the same letter for the resolution. So some people sign the petition, and those folks are going to receive another letter. Everybody's going to receive another letter after this resolution is considered. But the folks that sign the 35, or a part of the 35% of the people that sign the petition, they're going to get another letter that explains the process and how they will connect to the sewer. If the property owners were not a part of that 35%, didn't sign the petition, but still want to connect, obviously we want people to connect to the sewer. So those people, everybody will have an opportunity to connect to the sewer. If they didn't sign the petition, they're not required to connect to the sewer unless the Board of Works or the Board of Health requires them to connect to the sewer. And as far as I know, there's no Board of Health actions in this neighborhood. Anybody is being told by the Board of Health that they have to. But in the future, if a septic system fails and when the septic system fails, because every septic system fails. When the septic system fails and the property owner would go to the Board of Health and say, hey, we'd like to upgrade our septic system, the Board of Health may say, no, you're not allowed to upgrade your septic system because you're adjacent to a city sewer, and so you're going to have to connect to the sewer. There is a state statute that says if anyone is within 300 feet of a usable sewer, the city can require you to connect. So that's the state statute that we're basically using to require the 35% of the property owners to connect. It is not a must, it is a may, so we can require it, but we won't. Obviously, there are probably people out there that have perfectly functioning septic systems. They've invested a lot into them. They're working adequately, and it's not worth it for the city to require people to leave a septic system that's working fine. But eventually, that sewer system will be available to those property owners who wish to connect in the future. So the total cost for the property owners is it's this $6,000 extension, which within the first 90 days after you receive your letter, if you wish to connect, that can be financed. The Board of Works resolution puts a 2% interest rate on that, and you can pay for that monthly or annually for up to 10 years. After those 90 days, the financing portion goes away. You won't be able to finance. You'll have to pay the $6,000 up front. So if it's in 5 years, somebody comes in and says, hey, my septic system's failed, I want to connect to the city sewer, there'll be a $6,000 assessment, and that $6,000 will be due upon issuing the sewer tap permit. Every person who connects to the sewer has to get a sewer tap permit. It's from our permit office right here on the first floor of City Hall. There is a permit fee of $1,250, and that is will be due when the property owner gets their permit, and that can't be financed. But to explain what that fee is the fee that every property owner who connects to the city sewer pays, regardless of where they are. So in a new subdivision, typically the developer installs the main, and so there's not this sewer extension fee. It really gets lumped into the price of the lot. But every property owner that connects pays that $1,250, and that $1,250 is a fee designed for the property owner to contribute to the improvements that have been made to the sanitary sewer system that got it to that point. So all of our plant upgrades, all the other large diameter main extensions, the interceptor extensions that allowed the developer or whoever it was to be able to connect to it where they did, to extend. It's basically it's an entry fee into the system. So that's the basic purpose of the $1,250 fee. It actually goes into a specific fund that is used for extensions and improvements to the system. I hope I answered some of the questions that are out there, but we'll open it up for property owners to come up, state your name and address, and ask whatever questions you have, and hopefully we can answer them. If something happens and we can't answer them in the meeting, we'll be happy to follow up. Keith Saul, who's the sewer systems manager, he's in the back, and I may refer to him, or we can talk with him later. If there's a specific question about the improvements that were made, we can answer that question. May have to answer that question after the meeting. But if anybody has any questions or concern, come forward and we can answer them. Come to the microphone and state your name and address. Can you come to the microphone state your name and address for the record.
Pam Maloney, 1805 Stoneview Drive. Number one question is, has the sewer system been tested, and are we ready to start?
So there are two parts to the sewer system. There's a gravity sewer system, and then there's a low-pressure portion of the system for a number of technical reasons. The gravity sewer system is tested, anybody can tie into it. The low-pressure system was tested last week. There were issues that needed to be addressed. Those issues are being addressed, and I expect that anybody who's tying into the low-pressure system will be able to connect as soon as those repairs are made.
Okay, when you say low system, are you talking about the grinders?
Yes.
Okay, so the grinders are not ready, but
Everything
regulars
else
is ready.
Yes.
All right, you also mentioned that this can be put on payments. All right, what kind of interest are you looking at?
2%.
2%. Okay, and that can be paid on a monthly basis or
Monthly
annual?
annually. That's correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
There will be a letter that goes out after this that will have a form in it, and the property owner can choose to either sign that, there's three check boxes. I'm going to pay $6,000 now. I'm going to pay for it monthly over the course of 10 years, or annually over the course of 10 years. So.
Charlene Warner at 1700 Stoneview Drive. I spoke with Keith Saul last week. I did not sign the original petition. He told me that in order to get a letter to get the financing of the $6,000, I would have to phone his office after this meeting in order to be signed up for that letter. Is that accurate?
We can get, actually, I think we can get it to you right after the meeting.
Because he told me that wouldn't happen, so.
Okay. I think we can get it to you right after the meeting.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Mike Scheinman, 1504 Jenny Drive, and I was in contact with a contractor about hooking up, and the question is, how deep are the hookup taps?
They vary, because on a gravity sewer, we try and get them at least 5 feet deep. But we want them deep enough that you can get at gravity to your house, but not so deep that it's cumbersome to tie into.
Yeah, they were concerned that it might be deeper than 6 feet.
It probably is not. I don't think we have elevations on the end of the laterals, but I wouldn't expect them to be deeper than 6 feet. We usually try and tilt them up. We make sure there's enough slope on it from the main, and not too much. But yeah, it shouldn't be deeper than 6 feet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dan McCready, 1610 Stoneview. I got a couple of questions. The hookup fee, you have to get that, or does a contractor get that?
Either way.
You can
the
work it
contractor
out?
can come in and apply for the permit and pay the fee, or the property owner can.
Okay. The financing, 2%, will that be coming through your sewer bill or what?
So there'll be a separate bill.
A separate bill?
A separate bill that is sent out at this point. That's the way we've got it set up. I'd love to be able to put it on your sewer bill, but there's some technical challenges with that. So like if you're a renter, it should still go to the property owner, those kinds of things.
I see.
So it'll be a separate bill.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Donald Koontz, 1605 Stoneview Drive. My mom's got some issues with water standing in the streets.
I think I spoke with her last week. On the, right in front of her driveway. It looked
Yeah.
like when the asphalt was installed, there was a little hump between her driveway and the inlet. And we're reaching out to the street department to make sure we get that addressed
Okay.
as soon as we can, but definitely before winter, so that there isn't ice in front of her driveway. Yeah, it was pretty obvious when we were out there. You could see how the material's standing.
Won't interfere with hooking up?
No, it won't interfere with hooking up. Yeah. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Karen Hicks, and I live at 3409 Carolyn Court. So I understand about the $6,000. I understand it could be monthly, it could be yearly, or as long as it's paid within 10 years. I got all that part. What happens to a person who doesn't have that? And I want to stay in good standings with whatever I'm supposed to do, but what happens in that situation?
If the property owner gets behind on their payments, is that what you're saying? It's a lien that goes on the property. So, once the lien I'm not familiar with exactly how liens function, if there's penalties on the liens or something like that. But it ends up being a lien on the property. It has to get cleared before the property gets sold. So, I would say that's how that's gonna work. That would work.
Okay, thank you.
And if, maybe answering a question that doesn't get asked, but we have this situation a lot, is if there's a transfer of the property during this 10-year period, a lot of times what ends up happening is that the completion of the last, whatever's left over, gets cleared out. It either gets paid off by the seller or by the buyer during that transfer, and there's no penalty to pay it off early, so. Any other questions?
All right, so with that, we will close.
Do you have another question?
Will we be notified when the contractors can begin work?
Yes, so you'll get a letter right after this. We've got them ready to go send out, and those letters will state that you can come in and get your permit. And at that point in time, so the permit process is pretty straightforward. Either whether a property owner or the contractor comes in, they can obtain that permit when they walk in. There's no review process or anything like that. And then when the contractor typically it's when the contractor has installed the line, but before they backfill, they'll contact our office for an inspection. So we'll inspect every sewer lateral that is installed to make sure that it's the proper size pipe and type of pipe, and the bedding is correct, and that there's a clean out within 5 feet of the outside of the house, and that downspouts aren't connected to the line, and those kinds of things. There's a procedure for demoing the septic tank, and those procedures are going to be submitted or sent with that letter as well. So the contractor should have everything they need. Our contact information will be on the letter if any contractor has questions about how to do something, if there's something in particular that they need to have answered. We can answer it before they get out there. That way they're not putting something in the ground that they end up having to move.
And is there an expiration on the permit?
The sewer tap permit is, according to the ordinance, is good for 180 days. So And if there's city water out there, right? Is that correct? So your billing for it will be based on your water usage. And obviously you won't get a bill until once, as a part of our process, when you obtain the permit, that's not when your billing starts. It's gonna be after the inspection. So the inspection is what starts the utility. And we bill based on your water. We get the water usage from the water company, and so we bill whoever the water company bills.
The $6,000, if that isn't paid up front, will that begin once we ask? According to the Barrett law, it will start, I think, in November. There are only 2 times during the year when you can start a Barrett law billing, and I think it's November and May. I think it was because it was supposed to line up with property taxes or something. Barrett law's been around since 1936, so there's some antiquated sections of it.
Carol Hackler, 694 South, 300 West. When they started work on our property and came back in and filled everything in, we have no idea where our water meter's at. I'm wanting to redo lines in my house. I'm gonna have to be able to get to a shut-off.
So the water meter was visible before the project, but it is not visible now?
Correct.
Okay, we can fix that. We know where the water meter is because when we were surveying the project, somebody shot the water meter to get a location on it. So we can make sure we know where it is, so it's just a matter of locating it and then making sure the contractor regrades the yard so that it is exposed without being like a hole or anything like that. We should be able to put it back.
How do I get that?
What's
to
your
happen?
address?
694 South, 300 West.
South 300. I'll make sure Keith gets a hold of the contractor and the contractor makes sure that we take care of that.
Okay.
Anybody else?
John Fernandez, 1500 Virginia Drive. When they were putting in the sewers, they were parking their equipment there on the side of the road on Deffenbaugh.
Uh-huh.
And there's about, I would say about 50 feet. It's all full of ruts in there.
Okay.
And I can't cut the grass in there.
Is it on?
It's on Jenny Drive. I mean, it'd be on Deffenbaugh,
Is it on the south side of Deffenbaugh or the north side of Deffenbaugh?
on the south side.
Okay, on your side of the, okay.
They threw some grass seed down there trying to fix it up.
So, we did a final inspection with the contractor last week, and the first thing he said was, hey, I know this yard restoration still needs work. We told the contractor that the best time to do that, as far as the weather goes, is after Labor Day. So right after Labor Day, he's gonna come in and do additional, get the grading and seeding done right. And we'll make sure that.
I need to grade that.
When he does the grading and seeding, that he does that section on the south side of Deffenbaugh.
Yeah.
Got it. Anyone else?
Anybody else?
Okay.
All right, with that, we will close the public hearing and reopen the Board of Works meeting. And the next item on the agenda is to consider the approval of the FY 2019 CDBG sub-recipient agreement with First Congressional Christian Church for facility improvements, project number B19-3.2. This comes from Peter Shaw in the Development Department. And attached for your review and signature is a sub-recipient agreement with First Congressional Christian Church for facility improvements, project number B19-3.2. This project has been established as an amendment to the FY 2019 CDBG action plan. This project includes a roof replacement for the building located at 209 North Webster Street in Kokomo. This building will be used as an isolation center for high-risk homeless population to protect them from being exposed to COVID-19. An amount of $10,000 will be reallocated from the FY 2019 CDBG Neighborhood Blight Elimination Program to this new facility improvement project. Also, they will be bringing quotes from local contractors back to the board. Can I get a motion on that?
Make a motion, we approve the subrecipient agreement with First Congregational Christian Church for the facility improvements project.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Last under new business is to consider the new fence at the northwest side of the street department. And this comes from Joe Ewing. This memo is in regards to new fence on the northwest side of the Kokomo Street Department. We reached out to AAA Fence, Hendershot Fence, and Ideal LLC. Only AAA Fence responded. We are recommending AAA Fence do the work, which is approximately $33,650. And attached is that estimate. Can I get a motion on?
I make a motion, we approve the estimate for the new fencing at northwest side of the street department.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Any correspondence?
There is none.
Any additional items from the public? Any items from the board? Okay, last is to approve claims for July 29th in the amount of $1,885,824.68.
I make a motion, we approve the claims for July 29th, 2020.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries, and we are adjourned. Thank you so much, everybody.